Hello, everyone. I'm with Lynndell, and Lynndell and I worked together a couple months ago and did some coaching work. Now, Lynndell is a powerhouse. She is an entrepreneur. She is a personal trainer, a yoga instructor, a wonderful mother of two, plus what, you've got a couple dogs and a few pets.
Yeah,
And she's just an incredible woman. And I loved coming on to calls with you and just the vibrancy and the energy that you brought every single time. And I also get to see you at the yoga studio here and there, and it's always a delight to see you. So thanks for making time to chat with me today.
for
And
sure.
I wanted to know what brought you to coaching and what you were struggling with when we started.
So the program that I did, I think, was the best year yet program. So I honestly thought I was starting the program because I was dealing with just kind of going through a divorce and working through some parenting stuff that comes with co-parenting and all of that stuff. So I was suffering a little bit of anxiety and depression. So I thought originally I was coming to the program to learn better coping skills and just to kind of work on myself in that way. But it ended up being more, the more in depth we got with some of the stuff that we were doing in that program, it sort of ended up being more me learning that it's okay to feel my feelings and that I can take time. I don't have to get everything right 100% all the time. I can work on it and grow and learn as I go without having to be so hard on myself all the time.
Mm.
And that it's normal to have emotions and I don't have to be guarded with them so much.
Mm.
Mm.
What results did you start seeing shortly after working together? I
I,
also like hearing that it's like, this isn't what I expected. And then
yeah,
I end up getting that other component
something
that,
completely different from it. Yeah,
right?
yeah, for
But
sure.
yeah, what results did you start to see shortly after working together?
I definitely have changed how I communicate in a better way. I used to um, be very emotional about everything that I, good, bad, or otherwise. I would go from zero to way overdrive. So I've learned to kind of take a few deep breaths and kind of like get in my headspace before I react to things. So that has been really helpful, especially with teenage daughters. It's really helpful to, if I can take a step back, and because obviously if I react, then they're going to react as well. And it just, the communication just breaks down very quickly.
Hmm.
And I've also learned that it's okay to not communicate at all with some people if they aren't being kind. It's okay for me to set a boundary and make myself not available to that person
Mm.
unless they
Mm.
decide to communicate in a healthy way. So
Right,
that's been super helpful for me. I do come from a
right.
background in my childhood with a lot of abuse and having to be very guarded about what emotional states you were able to show because it might cause a reaction in someone else in the household
Mm.
and might make it unsafe. So just learning that I don't have to do that, that the people I have in my life now are safe for me and I can communicate if I'm having a bad day or I'm feeling sad or angry about something. I can say that and take a step away from communicating for a bit if I need that, or go for a walk, or just different ways of coping with things
Mm.
has been super helpful that way.
Wow. Breakthroughs
Mhm.
in communication. I love that.
Yeah.
And so quickly too.
Yeah.
Well, you've shared a lot of things that have you've taken away from the program. Is there something in specific, like that's really concrete that you can think of, like right here, right now, that you've had a breakthrough in since working together, even like beyond,
Yeah,
like it's been a little while since we worked. So it's like, oh,
it
from
has
today,
been a
like
little
I
bit.
can really see this is something that's been a breakthrough in my life from doing that.
Yes. I do find that I can trust my intuition better. I
Mm.
don't I don't feel the need to try to force relationships anymore. If it's not working, it's not working, and it's okay to keep some relationships just as surface level relationships, and that's okay. Everyone doesn't
Mm.
have to like me. I don't like everyone all the time, so I think just not feeling like I need to have approval from other people all the time to be okay with myself.
Mm.
Kind of just
Was
trusting myself. Yeah.
Yeah, was there people that like you just like had an inkling, like I just don't know that this is the right thing? And like,
Absolutely. Yeah. Unfortunately
yeah.
for me, when I ended my marriage, it was more my decision than my ex-husband's, but we had decided through 3 months of therapy and that I still knew I didn't want to be in the relationship.
Mm,
Um, so I said, it's not fair for me to keep trying and trying. If I'm not happy, I don't want to make you miserable. I just need in my heart to know that we can do this amicably. So it's better for the children. In my
mm,
mind, it's better if you can be friendly. You don't have to always feel friendly on the inside, but for the kids' sake, I felt it was important to stay surface level friendly, at least for them to feel comfortable to come to both of us if they needed us for anything. And unfortunately, that is the opposite of what happened. After I moved out, so basically the weekend that I moved out, there was a snowstorm, so I wasn't able to take everything that I had hoped to be able to take out, and just had some verbal agreements with my ex-husband that I could come back in a week or two, and the weather was a bit better, and I could borrow a truck again and pick up a few things, and that was sort of the initial conversation that broke down everything. So it just became a snowball of him accusing me of keeping the kids from him, and just this all these things that really put me into quite a actually funk or a depression for quite a while. Um, because I kept convincing myself if I just was nice enough to him that he would come around and we would end up being friends, and we could still have birthday parties with the kids if that was what they wanted, or go to their grads, their weddings, and be fine, you know?
mm,
And I just kept convincing myself if I just was a little kinder, if I just changed a little more, then that would happen. And then after working with you, I realized that my entire marriage kind of went like that. I kept trying to communicate better. I kept trying to be better,
mm,
in hopes that then he would go, oh my God, I have this wife that's working so hard on being a better person, and she cooks and she cleans and she looks after the kids and walks the dogs, and she has her own business and she brings money into the family. Um, and it was never
mm,
reciprocated. That's why the marriage ended. So I don't know why I thought that I could change that behavior after leaving the relationship, you
mm.
know? So I guess for me, just learning that boundaries are so important, and that it doesn't make me a bad person to not be able to have a close relationship with everyone that I have in my life.
Right.
And that's okay. That it doesn't make me a bad person. It just makes me somebody that knows when my limits have been crossed or my boundaries have been crossed.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Wow. And you also sound like a woman who's been able to see a lot more value of what she brings, like for herself
Oh,
and
yeah. Took me
and all
43
that.
years, but yes, I'm learning. I'm learning.
It's an everyday thing, you know?
It is. It is. Yes. And even still, some days I have to give myself grace, because I sometimes do still wake up some days and I'll remember a flashback of something bad I did, or especially in my relationship with my ex-husband. And I just cringe and think, oh my gosh, like that's such an awful thing as a person to do or say or think, even if I hadn't said it out loud. And
Right.
I'm learning now that everyone has things that they regret. That doesn't mean I have to dwell on them forever.
Right. And now you know what to do with
Yes, I
that.
do. I do.
So what was it like working with me?
It was very easy, I can say. I'm usually fairly, once I get to know someone, I can talk fairly easily. I'm fairly open. I don't keep very many secrets. However, when it comes to certain things about my personality that I might be more ashamed of, or things that I think might not be as likable about me, I can tend to try to hide those or be more insecure about them. And I never felt that when I was working with you. I was able to
Mm,
talk and enjoy learning from each experience, even if it was a little bit raw for me. It still was things that I was able to openly talk about. I never felt judged. It was very
mm,
easy, good flow. Yeah.
mm. Thank you. Hmm.
Mhm.
And after working together, my last question for you, what are you most excited for next?
You know, now that I've learned that it's okay to set boundaries for myself, I'm very excited to see what not pouring my energy into things that aren't benefiting my family and myself is going to be like. What
Mm,
benefits I can, how much better my business will get, how much better my relationship with my daughters will be if I'm not constantly in the back of my head worried that at some point I'll get an email that says I'm a bad mom because Chloe's tire was low when she went to Regina to visit her dad, or, just knowing
right.
that I'm doing the best I can. And it's okay if he thinks I'm a bad mom. He's not the judge of that. My kids are the judge of that. And my kids have never told me they think I'm a bad mom.
Mm.
So I'm just learning to set those boundaries and not wasting all of my good energy on things that are so not beneficial to my life.
Yeah. Well, I love
Mhm.
that. I can't wait to
Yeah.
see what your business and your relationships blossom to be.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking time out and chatting with me. And thank you so much for watching. And that's that's it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Andrew.